Well, hello there. Happy Sunday. Good morning and good afternoon from the East Coast. I'm your host, Tony Twist. This is ATW All Things Wrestling Podcast. And today, filling in for Miss Heel Liz is Mo. She is the co-host from the Culture 316 podcast out of NYC. Good afternoon. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. And yourself?
I'm good. I'm still trying to wake up, and as always, having my coffee in the morning every Sunday. I just make coffee every morning. Put some creamer, some coffee.
Like a type of coffee. Like some people like Colombian, some people like decaf, some people like.
It's like a breakfast blend. I don't know. It's kind of boring, but I put creamer. Sometimes I do like Bulletproof Coffee. Have you ever had Bulletproof Coffee?
I think I have. I think I had.
So it's like grass-fed butter, MCT oil, and you can add.
I think I tried before.
You can add some cinnamon or something. You got to blend it and then you drink it. It's kind of creamy, but it's really good. And it's good for you because it's like the fat from the butter and the MCT oil, which anyways, what the fuck? This is All Things Wrestling Podcast, ATW All Things Wrestling Podcast.
Sponsoring coffee.
Yeah, right. This is not a health nutrition show. But anyways, hey, we're just coming off of WWE Extreme Rules and the White Rabbit has been revealed. But before we get into all that, I want to bring on to the show Savannah Ray. She is our first third-time guest. So I want to give her a big shout out for making time and being on the show today. And Savannah is a wrestling journalist for the Wrestling Republic. Also does something with Next Up Pro Wrestling, if I got that right. If not, Savannah will correct me. So we're going to get into all of that. WWE Extreme Rules, the White Rabbit. And let's go ahead and bring Miss Savannah on. Hey, good afternoon. How are you?
Good afternoon. I'm doing good. How are you guys doing?
Oh, we're doing good. Thanks for coming on the show. And like I said, you are our first third-time guest. So big shout out for that,
Yay.
Right? So did you get to catch WWE Extreme Rules last night?
I did. My friends had a viewing party that I went to last night, so I caught everything.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess the big reveal, the White Rabbit, I want to get both of your ladies' reactions to this. So, Savannah, we'll go with you first. Were you happy or disappointed with the Bray Wyatt reveal and kind of how they did everything there at the kind of to end the show? Or what was your thoughts on it?
Leading up to it, I feel like it was expected that he was coming, but at the same time, I expected a swerve. There was a clue, White Rabbit in Alice in Wonderland, his clock was always 2 days late. So we were all expecting him to show up at Raw, if any.
Right. That's what I kept seeing too, and I was like, oh, that's fucking stupid. I hope they don't do that.
Yeah, but then at the same time, there were other clues, like from the Firefly Funhouse that led to him coming. But I feel like as far as last night, everything was executed perfectly.
Okay. Well, yeah, I think I was pleasantly happy with it. I was maybe expecting a little more, but I think overall it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Mo, what's your thoughts, Mo? How did you feel about the Bray Wyatt reveal?
I think it was perfect. I think if they were to have done anything else, actually, I feel like if they were to have omitted it and not done it at all, then the pay-per-view would have not have felt as special, because we all were anticipating it. A, B, I like how they were hyping up some of the fans that were sitting in the seats. Apparently, they were handing out like a word search, and like you're supposed to like circle all the words, and some of the people were posting on Twitter like the puzzle being solved. I forgot what the fuck it was, but it was something that basically was like a Bray Wyatt like line or a promo, something that you just know is just Bray Wyatt. But the third thing that I love is that rather than having him speak, they just kind of went through all of the characters that he has brought out over the years. And like I have said many times before, I think Bray Wyatt is like a creative genius, and I like how they acknowledged it. I feel like all of his projects always fell flat because of Vince. He's a bit of a control freak, and if he didn't create you like the same way he created the Undertaker, that's why he became successful. That was his whole project. But Bray Wyatt, he comes up with this stuff like off the dome piece, like this is just him, and I don't think he likes that. You know, I think he likes to tug back people that have a lot of potential and a lot of range, but weren't a product of him. So I just love how they fully acknowledged it. And they just kind of like, you know, left it kind of like as an open-ended question. It was the past mixed with the last thing that we saw, and it's like, all right, what do we do from here? Like, what's going to go on from here? Like, it actually got me excited. It was subtle but effective for me, at least.
Well, that was a very thorough explanation, but I really enjoyed that. I thought that was really spot on. I mean, that was great. And I'd have to agree with you. It was nicely done. I guess I don't know. I guess like many fans, just kind of wanting more, right? So you can't wait for Monday Night Raw because you're hoping he's going to show up on Monday Night Raw and not have to wait all the way till SmackDown. But Monday is the season premiere of Monday Night Raw, and I'm interested to see how that's all going to kind of play out. We're going to have the new announcing team, which I'm not very excited about. I'm a little bummed out that a friend of our show, Jimmy Smith, is no longer with the WWE, so I'm bummed out about that. I'm curious to see how the announcing team is going to sound on Monday night. But overall, the show with the Extreme Rules show, I didn't think it was that great, like of an actual show. Like wrestling wise, like the matches were just kind of eh. I really thought that Bianca Bayley match, I think it was solid, but I mean, I guess it's Bayley's like really her first match in quite a long time. But what did you ladies think about that? Savannah, I'll start with you. What did you think about that Bianca Bayley match?
I think it was good. I was actually, for some reason, expecting Bayley to win because of the other two tag team champions. But I don't know if this is going to be a storyline that will continue between Bianca and Bayley. Because right now, I mean, Bianca's pretty much gone through the whole entire locker room.
Right.
So
I was kind of hoping Charlotte Flair would come back and interfere in that match. I think that would have been kind of cool. It would have been a good way to bring Charlotte back in. But I think with Charlotte, a lot of fans are like, either you love her or you hate her. I don't know where you ladies are at on that, but I'm a big fan of Charlotte Flair. I think she's phenomenal in the ring. I think she's a great heel. But I think people were just kind of getting tired of her because everyone felt like she just, you know, like being shoved down the throat. Like she was being thrown into every women's championship mix you could possibly think of. It's like, boom, there's Charlotte Flair. It's like the third person, add her in. There's Charlotte Flair. So I don't know. I guess maybe it's a nice break for Charlotte. I know she went off and got married and this and that. So I don't know how they're trying to bring her back into the mix. But then kind of like with Sasha and Naomi, everyone is, you know, they're pretty much confirmed that they're coming back. But when are they going to come back? How are they going to bring them back in? Are they going to be a tag team? Are they going to be solo? Mo, what do you think on that?
Well, I just want to jump back to your Charlotte comment. I actually don't hate Charlotte. I just think that she exhausts me between her constantly needing the title because it comes off as if she can't have a fucking personality without having the belt.
Yeah,
like
I'll agree.
If you're
I'll
a really
agree
good
that.
wrestler, you don't need the belt to be it. That's Sasha, that's Bayley. Like, actually, any of the four horsewomen, they could carry on a whole feud and build and have character development without the belt. So that's my problem with Charlotte Flair because it's like she has like 11,000 title reigns and I can't remember one of them. I'm sorry, I can't. None of them were impactful. I don't think they moved the needle for the women. But in terms of being a wrestler, she's very good. It's just that I'm looking at the same woman from how many years ago she's been in the business. I don't really know, but it's just been no progression. Whereas with every single other woman in the Four Horsewomen had an evolution going on within their character. So that's just the way I feel towards that. As far as Sasha and Bayley, I was kind of hoping that they would come back and as soon as when Damage Control was trying to interfere in the match, I was hoping that the girlies would come back and try to help out Bianca, but I didn't get that, you know? So I was like, okay, like if this ain't gonna happen, then this match is probably not gonna be it from here because, you know, but I do feel like they're gonna somehow be involved in either War Games or they're gonna come back during the Royal Rumble. Either way, I'm not gonna be disappointed. I actually would be fine with waiting it out to the Royal Rumble, and they just could keep cock teasing us about, that they're here, they're not here, because there's pictures going around that, they're being seen in the same places as the other superstars. So that I'm looking forward to. Now, as far as the match goes, it was blah to me. It was flat. I was actually a little disappointed, just because when I think of Bayley and I think about her career, I think about how when she won the Money in the Bank match and she cashed in that same day, it's like one of those big things that's on her accolades, her many, many accolades. So I was hoping that she would really give us something. And then with Bianca being super duper athletic and strong, I just expected more spots and maybe more of her strength and her athleticism being shown off. I just felt like it was very safe. It was very weak. But then at the same time, Bayley did just come back from an injury. So maybe they were doing that on purpose. But it's just like, if you're going to play it safe at Extreme Rules, you better off not doing it at all. Like, they could have took the I Quit match then.
It did. I felt like, I agree. I just felt like it didn't flow, right? It didn't feel like the match was flowing. Maybe it was mistiming or bad timing, or they were missing cues, but there was a couple of spots in the match. I'm like, what the fuck? What's going on? Like,
it was to a point where I was looking down at my phone at some point, because it was the most forgettable match on the card. And I thought it would be Liv in Ronda. No, actually, that match impressed me, and I got the opposite with Bayley and Miss Bianca.
Well, I like that match, the Ronda Liv match, because it was short. So, because I mean, I'm not that big on Morgan, and I'm just not a fan of Ronda. But Ronda has definitely improved in the ring from when she first started, right?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
And the way the match finished, I thought was kind of funny. And then Liv had that smile going on her face. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yes.
What's going on here? Yeah, I was like,
no, it was very reminiscent of Shayna versus Nikki Cross on NXT Takeover. Nikki Cross passed out smirk. You gotta watch it. That ending, literally mirroring. I smiled. I popped like a motherfucker when I saw that, and it also gave me, it was a good callback of when Shayna also versed Bianca the first time, not the second time. First time she refused to tap. She refused to give up, and she actually chose to pass out rather than tap.
Oh, okay.
And that's how they had to go into their second match. So I thought that was perfect, because not for nothing, I like Liv's presentation. I like her gears. I think, she wrestles very well, but my issue with her is that I see her in the way she carries herself, and she cuts a promo and it comes off like a fan in cosplay.
She's just not a believable champion to me. She's just not a believable champion.
She's not. But in that match, and the way she went out, she got my respect. That was probably the most convincing I had ever seen between her body language. I know she can't talk for shit, but at least for once with her body language or her passing out smiling, that was good. That was good character development. You could take that and run with that. We haven't had a crazy girl character in a bit. So what if she just wanted to be a crazy girl from here on out?
But that was Alexa Bliss's character though, and that was fucking stupid
Alexa Bliss
as shit.
Was crazy too. I don't think she was crazy.
Yeah, with Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, with Bray Wyatt, she was part of Bray Wyatt's thing. Remember?
I don't categorize as crazy. I just think she was just a mythical weird bitch. But
all right, mythical weird bitch. Okay,
it wasn't the same as Mickey or Victoria or AJ Lee. That to me is crazy. Or Alicia Fox even. That wasn't. I don't know. It wasn't really crazy. It was just she's underneath mind control. So I'm I don't really put that in the same box. But we could get that with Liv. I feel like if they want to, because her character doesn't really have any layers to it. It's just you're a pretty blonde girl, and
right.
What else? You like wrestling? What else? Every time she talks, she's always talking about how I dreamed of this. I dreamed of this. Okay, you all dreamed of this. That's why you're all here. All right. That's why you all filled out an application. I'm not trying to be rude.
All filled out an application.
Or y'all went to the tryout. I don't dislike Liv. It's just that it's give me something, because you've been here for so long. You're an underdog. I get it, but we need something else. As a baby face, we need to have an attachment to you for some reason, something that connects us. And just being a fan and dreaming about this all your life is not enough for us. So that's just me personally. But this is the last time she's going to hold a title belt for a while. So
yeah, I wouldn't expect to see the title back on here anytime soon. Savannah, what'd you think of that match?
I think that was my favorite women's match. I know there have been discussions that maybe Liv might be Sister Abigail, possibly tying it to Bray Wyatt's return. Maybe that's kind of when she went off the rails. But I mean, I think that's another storyline that's developing that I'm excited to see.
Well, it looks like her social media went black for Liv Morgan. If you ladies caught that today,
Really?
her social media went. Yeah, she's got like a whole thing on her social media. So a lot of people are speculating. Yeah, Seth Rollins. Yeah, Seth Rollins. His went black too. So curious. Everyone's trying to speculate these characters that Bray Wyatt brought out with the Wyatt Six, kind of dictating who that might be. People are throwing it out that the Fiend might be his brother, Bo Dallas. And they're going out maybe Liv Morgan was going to be Sister Abigail, but then I also
Joe
heard
Gacy.
Seth Rollins is black too. I didn't realize that. Wow.
Yep. Yeah. So to Bray Wyatt, if he could have like a stable like that, I think that would be fucking cool as hell. So I'm just curious to see how this kind of all plays out with that.
This is gonna be good. Like, listen, with Hunter's brain, Bray cannot fail this time. He cannot. And people just need to be patient because they've been really hard on Hunter, and it's getting me upset because you know how big of a mess because you don't know how big of a mess that Vince left everybody else, or Hunter, I should say, to clean up. Like, you guys are expecting like changes overnight. He has to make it make sense logically. He can't just scrap something. That's how Vince would move. Vince would create something, scrap it, and not make it make any sense. Hunter is going to make it so that there's a way we could kind of get that character, that feud out the way, but you could, come back as something else reincarnated. You know what I mean? Like, just give it time. This is going to be good. Like, so far, like, I have really no complaints with what the man's been doing. Do you guys have any?
Yeah. No, I mean, I think, obviously it's going to be a slow progression. It's going to take time. I think wrestling fans are very like, shit, it needs to happen like right now. But like, that's not how storylines work. They can't just crowbar shit in. They got to actually build up to it. I think this thing with the White Rabbit is probably the best they've done with promoting anything coming in a very long time. I mean, look what people were doing. They're fucking doing scavenger hunts and trying to figure out puzzles and going back and watching old promos from years ago and this and that. Like, people have been all in when it comes to WWE. They definitely have the fans interested for the first time in a long time. I definitely got to agree with that. So I do want to switch gears for a minute. We could go back to Extreme Rules, but Savannah, I do want to hear what you're up to. But first, I got to acknowledge, I know you're like Max Caster's #1 fan. and the Acclaimed are now the AEW Tag Team Champions. Savannah, I want to know what you're feeling, how happy and excited you were when they finally, because I think you predicted it maybe the last time you were on the show. I know it was a while back. You're like, the Acclaimed are going to be Tag Team Champions.
Finally excited. The weekend that I debuted on camera, for backstage, he had his concert in Brooklyn, so I got to see him the week that they won the championship. So it was a very exciting week, for sure. So I'm excited to see where they're going to go with it. I want to see them go against FTR. I feel like that's kind of building up to that point, but I think it's a very historical win for both of them, and it's very much deserved.
Now, this whole thing with the team, I think personally they got to be the best thing going in AEW because their product, for the most part, AEW to me just doesn't have interest in it. Jon Moxley being the champ, I mean, it's cool, but I don't know. I can't get into AEW right now. I think the Acclaimed is probably the only thing I tune in for. That shit that they got going, I mean, it's with Billy Gunn, and I'm kind of bummed out because I think this Monday is going to be the DX reunion on Monday Night Raw, but I mean, as we all know, Billy Gunn's not going to be there because he's under contract with debut. But I wanted to get your reaction and how happy you were about Max Caster and the Acclaim winning the tag team belts. So big shout out to them because they're definitely the best thing going in AEW. Would you agree, Mo?
Definitely, most definitely. Sorry, excuse me for my voice, guys. Like I'm a little bit sick, but no, I love it. I love the representation for the whole entire community. At first, I didn't really like the Acclaim, but then like over time, I realized they're kind of like an LGBT version of DX, like a modern day one, in their own like interesting way. Like they're just fun. Like how the hell do you get that line over, "Scissor me, daddy"? Like. Like, how do you get that over with not just the gays, but the straights? Like, everyone's just proudly saying that shit the same way kids were running around saying "suck it." Like, that is fire. Like, oh my god. And plus, they've been putting out banger matches, and I feel like they really deserved it because you know what? That during All Out, actually, my favorite match the entire night was their match against Swerve and Keith Lee, and I was actually very upset with what happened with Punk because it took away from that match. Because to be honest, besides MJF, that should have been what everyone was talking about. You know, they worked their asses off and they worked their asses off again when they had the next opportunity during Grand Slam. And honestly, it was just like a very heartfelt moment. You know what I mean? And I love that. I love that when I don't fuck with like a team and like over time, you really could get me to like, you know, come over to your side. So I love that. I'm proud for him. You know, excellent for Anthony Bowens. You know what I mean? It probably like feels amazing to have that representation because I know wrestlers where they get turned away because of their sexual orientation. You know what I mean? Promoters just don't want to book them. They don't want to deal with them. They don't want to, they you know, they have their political views towards it. And I think that it's just so good because there's other people who are aspiring to be a wrestler that are part of the LGBT and stuff like that. And they look at that and they believe in themselves that, you know, that could be me one day, you know, like, it's not just for them. It literally is just like going across the board for everyone else that felt like maybe they shouldn't lace up a pair of boots because, you know, they're going to be oppressed. And it's just like, look what they're doing. Like, look what's happening on live TV. So honestly, I'm proud of it. I'm so happy for it. It's great.
And then as far as the National Scissoring Day, I was going to touch on this through Wrestling Republic, but I'll touch on it now. I feel like
shit! Are we getting an exclusive, Savannah? Is this an exclusive?
No. Well, I feel like it was very going through Twitter. I felt like it was very touching the way that they did it and like the fans' feedback, you know, as far as mental health, like you see all these fans, you know, touching, you know, I was going through a dark period and, you know, National Scissoring Day was kind of my escape from it. So, I mean, it kind of pulled at the heartstrings for me from that aspect.
Can you expound on that a little bit? What do you mean?
It was a really feel good moment, like just seeing, because there were a lot of people that were tweeting that, I mean, especially this month, dealing with mental health awareness. It was really touching seeing everybody. It was the tweets that I've been seeing. People were sharing their mental health journey and talk about how, you know, National Scissoring Day kind of helped them at that moment. Because it was just such a feel-good thing. Oh, that kind of makes sense. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I guess I was trying to. I totally lost my train of thought. I was thinking about that. That was just this past week, right? They had on Wednesday. On Wednesday. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Yeah. I think it's great. You know, I won't get too much into this, but my daughter, she identifies as LGBTQ. She's young. She's a teenager, and when I first showed her the Acclaimed, I think it was kind of like a promo they were doing during Dynamite. This was like months ago. It might have been during Pride Month actually, and I think they had Anthony Bowen on there talking and this and that. And then my daughter seeing that on wrestling, she knows that I'm a big wrestling fan, and she's watched wrestling on and off with me during the years. I took her to her first Monday Night Raw when she was like 4, and she cried because the fireworks were a little too much for her.
Poor baby.
Oh yeah, she still talks about that. She was watching Extreme Rules with me last night for a little bit. She was like, "You remember when you took me to my first show and I started crying because the fireworks were too much?" But that really meant a lot when she saw that PSA during Pride Month with the Acclaimed and AEW, and she was just like, "Why doesn't WWE do anything like that?" And I was like, "Well, it's a good question." I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. I was like, these guys are really putting it out there, and I think that's really good to be inclusive of everyone. You know what I mean? So I think that was a huge moment for AEW, for pro wrestling, for sports, period. Because how many athletes do we see that are out, right? I mean, you still see in football and basketball and some of these other sports, and that are predominantly African American, and as people of color, even in the Latino community, we know how hard it is when you're out in public or out in front of your family, whatever the case may be. So that's why, like in those pro sports, those athletes have a real hard time after they come out. They're either ostracized or, whatever the case may be. So I think it's a great thing for pro wrestling to kind of be at that forefront for athletes. People can say wrestlers are athletes or not athletes, whatever they want, but it doesn't matter. These people are still role models. They're in the public eye, and it's good for kids to see that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree 100%.
Well, Savannah, I want to know what you've been up to since the last time you were on the show. I don't think you were with Next Up Pro Wrestling, so tell me everything that's been going on with the Wrestling Republic and how you got involved with that as well, the Next Up promotion. Am I getting that name right?
Next Up Pro, yes.
Okay.
So it was around July. I'm located in Virginia. My school, wrestling school, couple of the students decided to open up their own promotion, Next Up Pro Wrestling, and the goal was not only build up the Mid-Atlantic scene, which is DC, Virginia, North Carolina, but to showcase up and coming talent, which is what we did last show. Our first show brought in 200. And then our next show will be December 10th in Hampton, Virginia. So I am doing backstage and commentary. It's very exciting to be a part of right now. Alongside with that, I've been with Pro Wrestling Magic in Jersey. I've been shadowing CZW. They're going to be doing the Tournament of Death at the end of the month in Delaware. And then I've been working with Capital Championship Wrestling, and all women's promotion in Delaware. And their show is this coming Saturday.
Oh, okay. Well, damn, you're busy then. You're real busy.
And then also Pride Pro Wrestling Vibe will be having their show November 6th in Washington, D.C.
Now let's go back to that because they had their big show in the summertime, right?
They did. Mm-hmm.
How did that go? I wanted to try to get you on around that time because I think the last time you came on to promote that. How was that show?
It was a very fun weekend. They had their main event. It was a all trans femme main event. Edith, Surreal, two I can't think at the top of my head. Candy and Dark Sheaf, I think. And then the referee. It was very historical. I had a lot of fun.
That was Billy Dixon's event, right?
Yes.
Okay. Mo, were you aware of that one? That PW Vibe? They had that. It was all pro wrestling, all LGBTQ wrestling show.
No.
The entire weekend. Mm-hmm.
It makes me want to elaborate more on it, but no, I was not aware of it.
Yeah, I think it was in, what was it, in June or in July, Savannah?
It was in June, first weekend in June.
Oh, okay. Is that something they're going to do every year, like an annual type of thing, or for Pride Month?
As far as the weekend, Billy has stated that was probably the last time he would do something the entire weekend. I think he's going to continue on with Paris's bumping and then elevate it to something else. So Billy has a lot in the works right now. And then he's also working on his in-ring comeback as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because he hasn't wrestled, right, in a while?
Yeah, so he retired and then he's coming back.
Okay. All right, but you said they have another show coming up. You said in November, PWI?
November 6th, Washington, D.C.
Oh, okay. Where's that going to be at?
D.C. Brow. So it'll be streamed on IWTV at a later date, but the location will be D.C. Brow, which is a brewery in Washington, D.C.
Oh, okay. That's cool. So what do you have coming up, Savannah? Obviously, it sounds like you're real busy now, kind of traveling, doing the wrestling circuit. What's your experience been like so far?
On camera, it's been such a fun experience. I think that my exposure to pro wrestling magic kind of boosted me up as far as presence, which is kind of fun and overwhelming at the same time because it's like, how did I get here? I've been writing the whole time and kind of being out of the spotlight. And now that I'm on camera with these multiple promotions, it's kind of been fast track for me. But it's been a fun ride so far. I'm working on CZW, trying to, I shadowed the commentary and then I shadowed ring announcing. So we'll see what goes on with that. But, as far as the traveling and everything, it's been fun so far.
All right. Is there anything you want to plug? Anything you got coming up that you want to plug? Tell our audience where to find you on social media and everything you got going on.
You can find me on Twitter. I'm on Twitter, Savannah RG513. I'm also on Instagram as well under the same Instagram. But I will be this weekend. I will be at CCW in Delaware, and Pro Wrestling Vibe. No, not Pro Wrestling Vibe. Pro Wrestling Magic, October 22nd in Ridgefield Park, New Jersey.
Okay, awesome. Well, congratulations on all the new stuff that you're doing. It's really awesome watching you on Instagram and just kind of seeing you went from writing and now it's like, damn, look, she's commentating, she's doing backstage interviews. Is there any up and coming wrestlers that you've seen that, you got to watch out for them? Like, they're going to be huge. Anybody you want to throw out there?
Yes, from Next Up Pro, definitely Avery Jacks. She had a phenomenal match, her first match with Jordan Blade. And
yeah, I know Jordan Blade.
Yes, so she is on the up and up. Another one from my area, Victor Walker, just graduated from the school. He's starting to travel. George Broman Jr., which is one of the co-founders of Next Up Pro. He's on the up and up. Also, I want to plug Paul Jourdain has returned to the independent wrestling scene, so he's kind of taking the indies by storm. I know he just won a championship down in Houston last night, so I want everybody to keep their eyes on him. And then especially with Billy Dixon returning to the indies. He has an agenda, so everybody look out for him as well.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming on today, Savannah. Really appreciate it. I know you're busy and you're 3 hours ahead, so
I love it.
It's past lunchtime where you're at, and I'm still trying over here. But thanks for coming on today. Would love to have you come on again, and really excited and can't wait to see all the stuff you're working on.
Thank you.
Thanks, Savannah. Have yourself a wonderful Sunday.
You too.
All right. Thank you.
Take care.
Well, that was awesome. I love hearing about the indie wrestling scene from like all over the country. It's really cool. Last week we had a guy on. He actually did a show up here in northern Arizona, and he's a guy that's been around forever. And I watched him wrestle Brian Kendrick in a main event in a show up here. It was the first indie wrestling show I had ever been to, and I had a blast. So it's always fun to hear about all the different areas and part of the country. Liz is out in LA and she's at a show like every fucking day. Like she's constantly going
living
to shows.
Her best life. Like, go Liz.
She is. I mean, shit. She's on a much well-deserved vacation. So
absolutely.
So anyways, I want to get back to talk about Extreme Rules. Now, your man, your boo, Edge, he had a rough night. He had a rough night.
He
had a rough
deserved it.
night. And then Beth also had a very rough night.
Good. That's what they get for blocking me. Beth, I know you did it, bitch.
Damn.
That's why I said Beth's Karma. Keep the name. Beth's Karma. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So how did you feel about that? How did you feel about that match? And then what did you think about what happened to Beth at the end? Were you cheering? Were you sad a little bit? What was going through your head?
No, what? I damn near busted a nut when I saw that shit. The fuck?
Damn. Well, I want to hear more about that.
Oh my god! But first of all, I was in the spaces off of Duce, y'all. So I was having a ball with this. Because you know what? I came in. All right. I am now divorced from my man since he blocked me. So I was definitely Team Finn. I definitely pulled a heel turn, and I was Team Finn. I was like, beat this man's ass because how dare you block me? Like I literally had.
When did you get blocked?
I got blocked the same exact week that Naomi followed me and that Sasha retweeted me. Can you just see that lineup there? Can you see that fucking lineup?
Right.
Naomi follows me. Next day, Edge blocks me. Couple days later, Sasha retweets me. I'm like, yo, what kind of week am I having? Like, all I did was I tried to holla. I just said, yo, like, call me when Beth ain't around. I put 2 Naomi pictures down. Blocked. But
That's
I
crazy.
had said some crazy stuff before adding Edge, like crazier stuff. My followers will tell you. You can even look it up on my page. I had said some crazy behind things about, they're probably deleted by now, but still, like crazy behind things about Edge. And like for that to happen, I'm like, yo, Beth had to have pick up the phone. Everyone else was on the same page as me. That Beth had to have picked up the phone and be like, who is she? Who is she?
Right.
You need to get rid of her. Otherwise, I'm taking kids. Ruby, Lyric, pack it up and stand by the door. I need to handle this. But let me get back to the match. Because I was totally Team Finn. Now, did an inkling of me miss my man? Yes. Just a little bit. Damn, he really don't like how long this match was. I do think the match was long, but it was worth it. It was definitely worth it. I do think it did drag out like an extra 5 minutes. It could have been cut like 7 more minutes, like, to be honest. It was, and that's the thing about Edge. Like with his age, he kind of has been like wrestling a lot slower. Like his matches aren't as super exciting as when he was just younger because he had that energy. I get it. Right. I respect it. The match was aight, but the ending was well worth it. I'm just mad that he quit because of Beth. I'm like, damn, like this bitch runs your whole life. Like he literally cut a whole fucking promo saying she wears the pants in this relationship, and I made a joke saying that she must peg him. But I'm like, all right, like
she probably does. She looks like she does.
I'm saying, but nothing against her. But I'm just like, damn, did she run your life too? Because why did you quit only because of Beth? You only quit because of Beth.
Now, have we seen the last of Edge?
No, hell no. I think he's gonna go into the Intercontinental title role. But to be honest, going back to I just want to congratulate Rhea Ripley, because I was not on Rhea's side as per those tweets that came out of her being racist from a couple of years ago. I kind of jumped off the Rhea Ripley bandwagon. However,
oh shit, I missed that.
She was younger. She was much younger. Like she shared some Trump tweets that were very racist. Shit. Very wow. Okay. Not tweets. They were like memes, like really racist memes. You can find on the internet in 5 seconds. That's the point. I was like, Rhea, you're kind of forgiven. You're sort of forgiven. Right. I don't fuck with what you did, but you're sort of forgiven here. Like honestly, Hall of Fame career. Hall of Fame career at this point.
Damn.
It's a Beth. I have that clip saved. I watched it 5 more times. Okay. I took another shot to it. I was like, oh my God, karma is great on me, bitch. It looks great.
She's like, rewind that. Run
it back. Run it back again. Hold up. So honestly, Stan Rhea Ripley, honestly, yeah, she's better than the 4 Horsewomen. She's better than Asuka at this point in time. Better than Sasha Naomi.
Damn. You're like, she killed my arch enemy, Beth.
Like, she did it better than motherfucking Randy Orton or whatever. So honestly, she's goated for that. I'll fuck with Rhea. But back to your Edge question. I think that when I think of Edge, I don't think too much of like the world title. I think about all his runs with like the mid-card title. So my personal opinion, I think that considering that Triple H has already been bringing a lot more attention to the mid-card titles, they're going to put Edge in that role. Now, does he have to have the title? That's here or there, depending on how you look at the situation. But when Edge left, he had to relinquish the title due to his injury.
Right.
And I just personally feel like it'd be a high note if he went out with a mid-card belt of his selection, preferably the Intercontinental title. But if he were to go on a high note and he would actually be able to give that belt to somebody at the end of his career, he only has like what, 11 more months, right? 10, 11 more months in his contract.
I have no idea.
I think he's up in August, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, okay.
So that being said, I feel like let him work with the mid-cards and let him bring more attention to the mid-cards. Because, again, Triple H is doing this lovely thing where instead of just making it seem like it's all about the world title, and then it's like this blah gray area of mid-cards, which used to be the equivalents of jobbers to us because they didn't put effort into making them feel important. And then you got other... now he's making this beautiful hierarchy where it's to a point where sometimes I'm actually more excited to watch the mid-card titles go at it. But there was no mid-card titles on this pay-per-view. So
no, there wasn't. It was not a lot of matches on this pay-per-view, which was kind of
go ahead.
Which was kind of, I was gonna say, it was kind of nice because I fucking really don't like the really long, drawn-out shows with all the video promos and the recapping of every fucking thing for like
exhausting.
Yeah, I'm like, you know how much time they could cut from a show if you got rid of all that bullshit? And I'm like,
right.
I'm glad. Maybe they are listening because didn't really see a lot of that. It was like match after match after match.
You treated it like a takeover, basically. Like takeovers wouldn't go past like 6 matches, I think 5 or 6 matches. That's perfect. It's perfect pacing. It gives the crowd, time to breathe. And it doesn't sabotage the main event because a main event, like they need to feed off of the crowd. Again, the crowd dictates, a lot going on in the show. And I'd be mad as hell. If I'm over here main eventing and I'm over here pulling spot after spot and these kickouts and all this other stuff, and the crowd's just standing there like they're waiting for the bus or whatever. Like, I would have been pissed. But I love that. I love that it's enough to where I don't forget any of the matches. I still remember every little thing that went on the show. It was fun. It was good pacing. No one's exhausted by the end of it. Perfect. Like Triple H is doing a great job with that. And also it makes me look forward to the mid-card titles again. Because last pay-per-view, we got to see more of the mid-card titles. Because I think Bobby Lashley was on, right?
Yep.
And we had Imperium. Not Imperium. We had a Gunther, that match with Gunther. So it makes you look forward to it, which that's how it should work. I shouldn't feel exhausted every month, watching a WWE pay-per-view.
Absolutely. Well, our chat has been very active today, and I don't know what the fuck this guy's talking about in the chat right now.
You know what? I respect women. I love women. I respect them so much. I completely stay away from it. What?
All right. Enrico Palazzo. I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
What do I make with that?
But hey, we got Circle the Debate in the chat. These guys we love these guys. Circle Debate. Thanks for always being in on our chat every Sunday. Always have something great to say. I think definitely have these guys. And then the Pro Wrestling Podcast out of Chicago, very active in our chat today. So could you imagine how Twitter would have reacted if instead of Bray Wyatt returning, it was just another
we would have with no Sasha Naomi?
Yeah.
We would have lost our shit. Nah, we would have lost our shit. I would have rioted if there was no.
Well, not only that, but they were in Philly, and the fans in Philly are fucking nuts. So if Bray Wyatt or somebody didn't show up, I think they would have the fans would have tore that place apart.
Hunter knew better. Sure. Hunter knew better to do that. Plus, no offense, like they've been blowing AEW out as per the last pay-per-views. If you count Grand Slam as a pay-per-view, they've been blowing them out the water. Like, and he's been keeping that same energy. So he would not have done us like that. There's no way, especially with that cliffhanger that they had, last show. No, it was not going to happen. I would have been pissed. No.
Oh, I would have been so angry because then the pay-per-view was just like okay. Because really, if you take that away from Bray Wyatt's reveal, the pay-per-view is just average. It's not really that great of a show. There wasn't a match that you're like, oh shit, that match was fucking tore the house down. They didn't have any matches.
7.5, maybe an 8 out of 10 for me.
8 out of 10?
Yeah, okay. Just about. Because honestly, if you were to delete, for me, I would delete the Bianca versus Bayley match because it was kind of pointless to me. But if you were to delete that, it was actually pretty good. I was gonna say semi-delete Drew versus Karrion Kross, but I understand where they're trying to do with Karrion Kross. So like the match was kind of lame and forgettable, but Scarlett looked a bomb in that latex gear. So you know what? I'm gonna keep that one. Keep that one. She looked good. She looked good. Does her being there makes any Karrion Kross match watchable? Just that.
Circle Debate feels the pay-per-view was awesome. Great storytelling for each match. I mean, I'm not saying it was bad. The matches were solid, but I think the biggest letdown of the night was the Bianca and Bayley match. I really wish, I don't know, it was just something like Bianca usually puts on a fucking like a 5-star match. Bianca's phenomenal. She's a phenomenal athlete. And there just seemed like some miscommunication or the chemistry in there. It was just something about that match that just didn't do it for me.
It was
I expected a lot more, but I don't know. That's just me.
I just wish Charlotte would have came out. That's the only way I felt you could have saved that match from being as garbage as it was. It wasn't bad. It was just lame. Lame, forgettable, generic, safe.
Right. Well, hey, I want to switch gears because even though you might be sick to death talking about it, I know you're probably sick to death talking about it, but the Naomi-inspired photo shoot that you did, first of all, it was fucking phenomenal. You looked amazing, and then you got much love from Naomi herself, Sasha Banks. That had to be fucking awesome. Now I know you've talked about this to death, but I want to know more behind the scenes of that shoot. How long did it take to get in all that? Right? How long was the whole day for you? How many hours? And by the end of it, were you just like, I'm fucking done? Like, I want to go home.
All right. Yeah. Shit. All right. I started my day off at 5 a.m, but I didn't actually start getting ready for the shoot till I want to say like 9, because I was responsible for doing my own hair, and I colored it green and all that other shit, and put the bobos in my hair, and that was like the easiest part of my whole entire day, just figuring out my hair. Then I have to go to like a makeup appointment at Sephora, and I'm over here like wondering, all right, how do I convey to this lady that I'm trying to cosplay a wrestler without her looking at me like I'm crazy? But luckily enough,
hold on. I got one question. So what made you decide to go with like kind of I don't even know what those called.
They're really just 2 Afro puffs, to be honest. But some people call them space buns.
What made you decide to go with either that or, we've seen her do like the whole Afro, and I've seen you with that on your Instagram. You look fucking amazing. So what made you decide to go with which hairstyle?
I'm gonna be honest, in terms of selecting the hair, it was like a no-brainer that I wanted to rock an Afro because Naomi is so Afrocentric. Like she presents it in her gears, she presents it with her hair, especially like I'm a biracial Black woman, and when it comes to us and our hair, like we treat it like our crowns or whatnot. And I feel like the highest form of a crown for African American hair is really if you just wear it natural in its natural state, just let it be, So I didn't add nothing, no curl activating shit or whatnot, try manipulating my curls. No, I wanted the fro to just be the fro. So that's just what I did, and I just let my fro be. and I just added the green in because, of course, Naomi's known for the glow. And we were doing a whole. If y'all didn't see the shoot, it was a body paint glow in the dark shoot. So that was my main thing. I wanted to be lit the fuck up, and I just went with that because I just felt like I wanted to be my most raw, natural state. It is a cosplay, but it is more so also paying homage to her as much as I possibly humanly could. Because I debated on, let me go get a wig or let me go, with stuff like this. And I'm like, no, what? Nah, like less is more, because I had a huge connection to when Naomi first let out her fro during that Royal Rumble in 2020. That whole era where she just was rocking her fro and she was getting creative with her hair. She was putting colors in it. I don't know why I just vibrated with that so much, because she's always gorgeous. Don't get me wrong. She is fire. In my personal, when I do my own list for who's the most fire looking females out of the whole company, she's definitely in my top 10, probably my number one, actually. But like, she just never looked more gorgeous to me than when she came out with that beautiful fro in 2020. I'm like, you know what? I have to go with it. I have to rock the fro. But she's known for the bobos. So I'm like, I'm going to put the bobos in there too. Like, it made me feel like a kid again, because this is like the same hairstyles I used to wear as a child. But I loved it. Loved it. But yeah, that's what I went through with the hair. Makeup. Yeah. I was so lucky that this lady happened to know who Naomi was. She wasn't a wrestling fan, but she expressed that, I had a boyfriend that used to love watching wrestling, and he actually used to watch Total Divas. And for some reason, I just saw her and I loved her. I was like, wait, so you know who she is? Like, you know her. If I show her, if I show you her Instagram, you get it. Like, you already get the game. She's like, oh yeah, no, she's the girl who's like dancing and she got all the nice gears going on and she glows up and stuff like that. Girl, I know exactly what I'm doing. I was like, yo, thank you. Because you just saved me a lot of time explaining myself, because it's a lot when you explain to another person who doesn't watch wrestling, and especially there's no context to them. They don't understand why I'm doing this. And I'm not sure if you care for me to explain that, because we'll be here forever if I go into my whole stuff why I did this. I
love hearing the back. I love hearing the behind the scenes stuff. I mean, I'm sure you've been asked the same questions to death, but I want to switch it up. I don't want to ask you the same shit. I want to know what went into it. How many hours were you there? Like, at the end of the day, where you're like, I just want to fucking go home and get all this shit off me. Like,
we're gonna get to the fun stuff. We're gonna get to the fun stuff. We're gonna get to the fun stuff. Yeah, no, she beat my face up. It looked fucking amazing. I was actually mind blown by that. And then afterwards, I literally had to go drive out to the city. I live in Suffolk County, y'all. So for me to get to the city, that's like a good hour at least. Went to the studio, whatever, and I was told show up in like sweatpants and stuff like that and just wear nothing underneath. I initially was gonna wear pasties because I never did a fucking full-on naked shoot, not for nothing.
Right.
But I was like, fuck it. At some point, because when you get really hot and you have all these fans in your face on purpose so that the paint don't come off or whatever, like, you just have to accept that, all right, you might as well just take the shit off and just free ball it. But before anyone asks who was painting me, was a male or a female, whatever. It actually was both a male with the assistant being his girlfriend. So I had two people working on me, and I didn't even know she was going to be there. I didn't even know that she existed. I met the male. I never actually met the male in person. I met him through a group chat because my photographer, who I worked with 3 other times before, pitched me this man. And I swear by this photographer because he's the only one who I feel 110% comfortable with. So I knew he wouldn't do me dirty when he was going to get me a body picture. So I wasn't nervous about that. But when I saw the girl, I was like, oh, okay, now I have more people seeing me naked. Okay.
She's like, she was probably like, you ain't painting her unless I'm painting her too.
Yeah, I don't know. But the thing that made it so weird too is that my photographer is going ham shooting 2 other photo shoots. All right. And then there's me. I'm the last one to go on because it's going to take a long time to paint me. So they had set up these curtains and had me in like this small behind, like, it was like the space that we had to work with was like a closet, like to the point where this guy is leaning with his back towards the wall, painting my ass. And then the girl is in front of me painting my lady parts. It was like, we had no space at all whatsoever. I'm like, okay, this is kind of awkward. And like, it's not that no one was talking. It was just that it was kind of weird. Like, I'm like, I have a couple painting me and we're going to be stuck like this. Like, my arms have to be out, legs spread out and everything. Because again, you don't want to create heat. You got to create heat. It's going to create smudges. So you have to hold this pose straight out for about 3 hours straight, 3.5 hours to be exact. So at some point, I was like, does anyone want to take a shot? Because this is going to be a long time. I whipped out my Ray and nephews. I started passing around the bottle, child. I was just like, this is going to be a long behind process. And that's when everyone started bonding. It was kind of great. But yeah, no, it was the point where my back was hurting. And, you know, I wasn't aggravated or nothing. If anything, I was still like, thinking about my shoot and thinking about poses and thinking about whatever. I was explaining to the girlfriend who never watched wrestling, why am I doing this and stuff like that. Everyone was a vibe. It was great on set. I popped my head out actually during my set while I was being painted, and I walked down. There was a bondage shoot going on, bro. It was so random. Like my photographer would be shooting just about anything. There's a whole bondage shoot going on. And I'm over here looking at them kind of in amazement because it was actually a really beautiful shoot that they had going on. They're looking back at me saying, girl, you look fucking amazing. I don't know what you are, but you look fucking amazing. I'm like, do I really? Because I didn't even get to see myself yet. When I saw myself, I was so mind blown because, again, like, I didn't think he was going to be able to pull off this gear. I did not think he's going to be able to pull off this gear. But, again, I got to shoot myself before it comes off. Because when it comes to glow in the dark paint, it wants to just, like, melt right off of you. For some weird reason, it's not the same as regular paint. UV light is very thin and it smudges a lot easier. So
did they have the AC like cranked up in there? Or
they just had a billion fans on me. Like I had to make sure I couldn't sit down. I couldn't, like, the way I'm sitting right now, my legs crossed, couldn't do that. I couldn't sit down because then it's going to come off on my, you know, my behind. I couldn't bend my arm like this. I literally had to kind of just walk around like with everything open, you know. And we tried pulling off like a few videos that was going to go on his page. They're probably up by now. I haven't been checking, but he was doing some videos. We did some stuff, you know, near the studio part of the set. And then it was time to shoot. And honestly, when it comes to modeling, I'm not sure if anyone here is familiar with how modeling works. Modeling really doesn't take a long time. If the model is aware of her body, she knows how to make love to the camera, quote unquote, as they call it. That's the easiest part. And I think we banged out about 80 usable shots in about 30 minutes. And it only took longer than 30 minutes because they had to keep repainting me because they wanted to use a smoke machine at some point. I think you guys might have seen the smoke when I was over there hitting the matrix pose or doing the center split pose and stuff like that. But as soon as you turn the fans off, I started melting. So they had to keep painting while I'm still posing, while I'm still trying to get my life together and bang out shot after shot. So it was fun. What I love about working with my photographer is that he knows me. He knows I'm a fan. He's actually a fan too. So he understood the assignment immediately about what I wanted. And he didn't have to tell me to do a damn thing. He just let me take over the whole entire shoot. I saw a ladder randomly. I'm like, let me use the ladder. Let me climb up on the ladder. They're like, you're wearing heels. Don't do that. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Climbed up on the ladder. I tripped. But I got back up and I was just hitting poses left and right. You know, doing stuff against the wall, doing stuff against the mirror, doing stuff on the floor, hitting out like these random flexible poses they never seen me do before. It kind of threw everybody off in the room because they're like, no, I didn't know she was bendy like that. And it's just like, yeah, I am. Like, I've been practicing, bitch. I really wanted to give my all for this shoot. Like, it wasn't about like, oh, I want to look cute and I'm just happening. Like Naomi. No, I wanted to just like take every little thing that in my head embodies her and just bring it to the film. I want it to be more about art than about me being naked. So that's what I was looking for, and it was lit. Sorry, go ahead. You look fucking.
I would say you look fucking amazing. You nailed it. So to our audience, if you have not seen Mo, you need to go to her Instagram. Tell everybody where to find you, Mo.
Y'all can find me on Instagram at That's Just Mo. It's THATS Just Mo. That's it.
All right. Well, that's gonna do it for our show today. Our show just fucking.
You know, we skipped over mad matches. I hope you know that.
Hey, there's always next week. But the pro on a pro wrestling podcast said you put the Mo in model. Oh shit!
Really? Oh, thank you.
You got a fan. Well, hey.
Thank you.
So we'll see you next Sunday or what?
I'm down. I'm totally down.
We
gotta pick up now. I mean, we only skipped over 4 other matches, bro.
No, we didn't. What match did we skip? We skipped the first one. What was it? Gunther and Sheamus. That match
we skipped over. We Did we talk about Ronda? And we did talk about Ronda and
We
Liv.
did. We talked about Ronda and Liv.
We didn't really elaborate on Seth and Riddle here.
I mean, it was all right. Let's just tell everybody it was all right.
It was just all right to you. We talked about what happened after, but we didn't actually talk about the match.
No, I mean, it's all good. Hey, I had fun. It was a great show today. I appreciate you coming on. You're a busy lady. Just everybody's busy. But that's cool. Oh, here's a question for you. Do you have another photo shoot planned?
I actually have two. I don't want to say what they are because I feel like that takes. I like to just surprise people.
No. I'm just curious if you got another one planned.
Got two actually. They're not going to be wrestling related, but I am a geek, so I will be doing cosplay. I will be doing cosplay. One of them's actually coming up the next 2 weeks. I may post some behind the scenes stuff, but I don't want to give away the actual film until it's ready to come out. So stay tuned, y'all. You're gonna like this one. I'm already excited about it.
Well, you got a lot to live up to after that first one. So like, you got the next one's got to it's got to blow you away even more.
No, trust me. This one knows what he's doing. In terms of the person I'm working with, like it's like this. I love when I work with a photographer that like they're geeks just like me because we literally like it's not like something I gotta explain. It's like we just get it. We're here. Like we're gonna put this vision together somehow, some shape, way, or form. Those are my favorite types of shoots. Then once I get passionate, like you'll see it. Like you'll literally see it on film.
Right.
So yeah.
Well, I can't wait to see what it is. The Naomi photo shoot was fucking amazing. You killed it. So keep an eye out for that. Everybody make sure you go to Mo's Instagram, find her where all she is on social media. She's very active on Twitter. Just don't start talking shit to her.
You don't want to mess with me. Nah.
Right. Well, hey, I'm your host, Tony Twist, and Mo will be back next week to join us. And stay tuned to see who our guest is. Happy Sunday, everybody. If you missed the show, you can always go back on our YouTube channel, which is ATW All Things Wrestling Podcast. You can find us on Apple, iTunes, Spotify. Look for us on Instagram. Yeah. Big shout out to Pro Wrestling Podcast. Very active in our chat today.
Yeah, he was definitely going off.
Absolutely. Well, hey, it was great to have you on, Mo. And happy Sunday, everybody. And we out of here.